The number one reason of failure in the PT reading section is the lack of vocabulary, and the second one is grammar. But in this video, we are addressing how you can master the vocabulary related to the PT reading module of the exam, and that too the latest vocabulary. See how many people are benefiting from the videos that we are making on the vocabulary focused on the PT reading questions that are getting repeated in the exam. Our research and analysis is helping to come out with these words that are most repeated in the exam. One example is Harpreet. See her score. She managed to jump by 10 points in 3 weeks' time, concentrating on the focused vocabulary that we are providing in our videos as well as to our live students. So why are you lagging behind? This is really important for your PT reading scores. Watch this video right till the end. Hey everyone, this is Anurag here from Edutrainex PTE. I hope you all are doing good. Many words, as I've told you before, they get repeated in the exam, and through our thorough research and analysis of the prediction files that we are preparing, we are finding the most repeated words for you, and there is no limit to the number of students who have benefited from it. You have seen how many comments we are getting on the WhatsApp and YouTube thanking us to make these kind of videos. Of course, we are there to help you. And the example that I gave you just now was Harpreet. She managed to do it in 3 weeks' time, focusing on the prediction files. If you don't have access to all the prediction files, you can join our YouTube membership where you will have access to all of them. So use these secret videos and the playlist that we are preparing to prepare properly for your PT reading module and clear the exam in the very first attempt. Don't waste your time on looking at the tricks that will promise you to increase your scores overnight. Okay, this will help you to increase your score gradually, but it is a very focused approach. So like and subscribe and watch this video right till the end. And if you really need paid assistance, if you're lacking in many different areas related to reading module, then you can directly WhatsApp us. Any other modules as well, we provide a complete course with 3 months of app access as well. Let's start with the words that are getting repeated frequently for this particular month. Okay, I just wanted to show you one of the words, and you can see how many times it has been repeated, almost 30 times. That's why I've highlighted this particular word in red in the first slide that I'm going to show you the list of words. Many places in reading fill in the blanks, in reading writing fill in the blanks, reorder paragraphs, read aloud, every single place is having this kind of word, and those are the type of words that I'm going to share with you just now. Okay, so that's the first word in the list, despite. Why is it repeating so many times in the exam? Because it's a very common word. And how do we use it? What is the meaning of despite? How the collocation is exactly what we are going to cover in this video. Despite means regardless. So despite trying so many things, you are not getting successful. So that's what despite means. And don't use of with this. In spite of is similar to despite, and many people make this mistakes of going with despite of in every place. So despite something directly, don't use of there. In spite of is correct. The second word in this particular month is distort. Distort means twisting something or damaging something. You're not presenting it as the same. So that's what it means, not very clear, twisting, and you use it with a noun because this is a verb, distort, distorted, and you use it because you are distorting something, right? It could be any object, it could be any noun. The third one is deliberate. What does deliberate means? Has two meanings, very different meanings. First one is when you're doing things on purpose, and the second one is when you are thinking. I'm deliberating over this. So that is a verb here because you are doing an action, thinking. But what is this? Deliberate action. Something is an adjective. So this one will describe the noun. That's why it is an adjective. Like you said, deliberate action. So that's what collocates with a noun. It could be anything. And if you are thinking, if you are deliberating, you can use over. So that is the word that goes with deliberating most often. The fourth one is accumulate. Accumulate means gather, collect, all those sort of things. And this is an action. That's why it's a verb. What do you accumulate? What do you gather? You gather something. And it can also be used accumulate to or in, accumulate in. So these are the two type of words that go with this word. We will shortly do some exam questions as well, and you will see some of the words that are used in the exam. Now, if you don't know the meaning of these words or how to use these words, you will not know the correct answers, or you will not be able to understand what is the correct answer. So understanding the words and improving the vocabulary increases your chances of getting successful in the PT reading module tremendously. Believe me, do it and then you will find the difference. The fifth one is deplete. Deplete means running out. Okay, again a verb. So many verbs here today. Deplete something and depleting fast. Depleting fast. My resources are depleting fast. Something that is getting exhausted very fast. Strive. Strive is something that you all are doing. You are putting an effort for your exam. You are striving for success in the PT reading module and something is lacking. Vocabulary is one of them. Please utilize these skills to improve your reading scores. Strive for, always used with for. I am striving for success or I am striving for a 90 score, 79 plus score. That's how you use strive. Conveying. Conveying means what? If I'm able to make you understand something, I'm conveying some information. And because I'm doing an action here, that's why it's a verb. Conveying for a reason, conveying for the purpose of PT exam, and I'm conveying to you. So these are the two words that it often collocates with. Okay, so if you see a blank which has option as convey or conveying, and if you see to or for, then it should strike in your mind. Okay, convey to or convey for can be used. What's the next one? Incompetent. Not having appropriate skills means incompetent. So if I'm lacking some skills, I'll be incompetent. Okay, don't think of yourself that you are incompetent in PT. There is a way. This is the way. Improve your vocabulary. So it is often associated with people. Okay, we don't say incompetent objects, but we say people. So that's why I have written someone, not something. Sophisticated means advanced, and because we are trying to describe the characteristics of something, that's why it's an adjective. Okay, so you can describe it with something or someone. If my approach is sophisticated, or the technology is sophisticated, or my laptop is sophisticated, anything that you are describing an object or someone, you can use sophisticated with that. Therapeutic, this is a medical term, but we have seen this in the exam in a couple of questions. It means healing. And again, therapeutic approach or therapeutic method in the medical sense. So that's why it's describing something and mostly used in the medical sense. So if you see a passage related to medical science or hospital or medicines, and if you see something related to healing, and if therapeutic is there, you can use it there. Of course, it should make sense in the context as well. Let's look at the next set of words. Okay, now we have different type of words, not just verbs. First one is contamination. Okay, just by looking at it, you can understand this is a noun because it ends with shan. If you haven't watched the spelling videos, I have shared this information a number of times. Okay, try to grasp and keep those patterns in your mind and do more reading. Identify these patterns, make it a practice, and then you will start seeing the magic that all the words are getting clear to you. You will be able to understand which type of word it is, and that is the key to success in reading. So it means pollution, contaminating. Contamination by something like the industries. The air is contaminated by industries. So you can use it in noun form as well as it also has a verb form. Contaminate, contaminated, contaminating. Those are all the verb forms. But if you put a shan, it becomes the noun form. What about substitute? Similarly, this is the root word substitute. If you put a shan, substitution, then it becomes a noun. Over here, it is a verb. So that's what I said. There are two forms, noun and verb. In the noun, you are using it as a replacement. In the verb, you are exchanging. So he is a substitute for someone. And see, that is what the word is collocating with. Substitute for something. Or you can replace IELTS with PT. So PT is a substitute for IELTS. Okay. So that's how you have to use it. The third one is deceit. Deceit means fraud. Okay, if someone is doing a fraud with you, you can say he is deceit. He is deceiving you, or his actions are deceiving or deceitful. If a person, you are trying to describe it in the adjective form, you're describing a person, you can say deceitful. He's a deceitful person. So person describing by deceitful is adjective. Coincidence. What is coincidence? It's a noun. Again, a very common pattern for the nouns ending by ENCE words. By chance. It means by chance, coincidence, luckily, by chance. So that's what happened with the questions in the prediction files. All of you ask me, sir, what is the percentage or chances of getting the same questions in the exam? And I say, it is coincidence. If you are lucky, you will get a lot of questions. If you are not so lucky, you will only get a few questions. So coincidence of getting the questions in the exam, or it is very coincident that we are talking about this. So both ways you can use it. These are the two common words that you should be using it with. Commemorating. Commemorating is in the verb form because of ing. Commemorating means celebrating. So what do you celebrate? You celebrate an event or an occasion. So that's why you celebrate success of someone, or you are celebrating someone, commemorating, honoring someone. So that's why you can use it with people as well, or with events, objects as well. Efficacy. It's not a very common word, but it means effectiveness. Again, it's a noun, and efficacy of, effectiveness of. Very, very common collocation used with efficacy of. How much is the efficacy of these kind of videos? I would say very, very high, because these are focused on the present month of the PT reading module, and learning these words will directly help you in the exam. So that's how effective it is. Indispensable means that you can't replace it, something that can't be replaced. So these type of videos, the vocabulary, knowledge of vocabulary, I would say, is indispensable for you. Without knowledge of vocabulary, you can't just crack the reading module. It gets very, very difficult. So please understand that this is an English exam. We need to learn the words, understand the words. Even if you don't know at this stage, start learning. Okay. So it is an adjective because it's ending with able. That's a very common pattern for adjectives. Indispensable to replace, or indispensable to something. That's how you use this word. Retreated means withdraw. Someone has retreated. It's not like giving you a treat or party again. Retreated means withdraw. If the army soldiers are retreating, means they are running away, withdrawing themselves. So it is given in the verb form here, ed, in the past tense. So it is an action. Retreated to. Where are the army soldiers running to? So they are retreating to, back to their country, retreating to their country. Or you can say retreating in something. So both these words, in and to, can be used with retreated. Overwhelming is not a very common word, but it has a very common meaning, which means overwhelming means enormous. The burden of the PT exam is enormous or overwhelming. So you are describing the nature of the PT exam, and that's why it's an adjective. And you can associate with something or someone. That's how you use overwhelming. Okay. Like if you don't learn the vocabulary, again, it will become overwhelming for you. Monopolize. What does monopolize means? It is borrowed from the word monopoly, which is noun. This one is in adjective form. Monopolize. Cut that. This one is in the verb form. You might think that this is an adjective form, but this is doing an action. I'm monopolizing something. Microsoft or some other companies, if they are monopolizing their market, that's what monopoly means. That is an action. The action of monopoly is monopolize. So you are controlling, you're dominating, okay, and you dominate something. Same concept, subject, verb, object. So verb is this, and then object will come after that. All right, let's look at the third set of words. Crippled. More verbs I see here. Crippled. What does cripple means? Severe damage. So if someone doesn't know the vocabulary, again I'm using the same example, it severely can damage your exam scores. As simple as that. Very, very true. I've seen it with numerous students who don't have enough vocabulary and they are not focusing on the vocabulary. There's just the exam scores in reading will not happen. Very, very true. So crippled by the lack of something, lack of effort, or crippled for a reason. So those ways you have to use crippled. The second one is ingest, means swallowing something. You are eating something, ingesting the tablets, ingesting the food. So it is an action because you are doing an action, eating. And then what are you eating? You are eating something. So it can be anything. Associate again is in the verb form. Association will be in the noun form. So it can be used two ways. Associate can means the partners or the colleagues you are working with. So in that case, they are people. That's why they are noun. And if you are associating or linking, connecting with someone, then you are doing an action. So that's why it's a verb there. So I already used the collocation, association with or associating with people, or associate of my company, associate of that company. So of and with both can be used, but depending on which type of word you mean. Are you using it as a noun or are you using it as a verb? So we have to be little careful here. Induce means induce like start or cause. Again, inducing an action. By making these kind of videos, I am inducing an effect in you all to start learning the words like this. Causing. So inducing something or induction by or inducing by. So in this case, that will be me. Comprehensive is a complete thing, everything like a comprehensive learning package that we offer for our live class students, including the app access and everything, prediction files, unlimited, everything unlimited. Okay, so that is called as comprehensive, a very complete thing. And because I am describing something, it's an adjective and you use it with a noun. That's very clear, right? Adjectives are used with a noun. So that's how you use it with. Convinced. Again, an action. A verb means persuading someone. So I am trying to convince you to learn some words that are relevant to the exam. That is persuasion, that is convincing. And I am convincing you, I am persuading you. So you are the someone here. The next one is inclined. Okay, you may use it as a verb as well or as an adjective as well. So you can use it in both ways. Okay, if you are showing an action, that will be inclined or inclining. If you are describing something, then that will be used as adjective. An inclined slope. So a road, an inclined road. So you're describing the road. In those cases, it will be used as adjective. Wherever you're describing it as a verb or an action, then it will be verb. Hoisted, like you hoist the flag. Okay, hoisted. Raise a flag. Again, an action, verb. And you host something or you hoist something. Pardon my pronunciation, you hoist something. That's how you use it with the nouns. The ninth one in this case is a difficult word, metaphor. What is a metaphor? It is a figure of speech. Figure of speech doesn't always mean sarcasm. Okay. Figure of speech is something implicit, hidden meaning. That's what metaphor is. And a metaphor for something. If I tell you that vocabulary is very important, so I am indirectly telling you a metaphor for the PT exam. So that's how you use it with words like for. Implicit, very similar to what I just said now. Implicit means hidden or suggested. Understood meaning. Okay. So again, I am describing something. So that's what it is, an adjective. Implicit in its own ways or implicit meaning. So these are the two type of words you often use this particular word. Okay, now let's look at the last set of words before we do the exam questions. Make sure you learn all these words. These have come in the exam and many people who I have spoken to recently, they have seen these words in the exam and they were unable to understand it. And that's why they couldn't attempt the questions properly. Some people have told recently that the exam is getting difficult. Is it really true? Is it really true? The exam is not really getting difficult, but the variety of words, they keep on adding new words. But there is still some words that I shared in the previous 3 slides that I showed you just now are getting repeated more and more often. Okay, even these words are not very difficult. If you understand it here, you can crack it in the exam wherever you see. You saw the example of despite, how many times it was repeated in the exam, right? 30 times in one particular month. Abase, the first one, meaning humiliate something. Cut that previous part. Meaning humiliate someone. You always humiliate someone. You don't humiliate something. So you always use it with a noun. Reversal, the next one, which means turning around, turn around. A reversal of something or reversal into something. So that's how these two words are used together. Reversal of an action. For example, if you do something wrong and you reverse your action, so you made a reversal of your actions. Tranquility, very uncommon word, I would say, but it means calmness, peacefulness. So you need to be really calm before you go for the exam, and this is a noun. So tranquility of can also be used, and in can also be used here. In, tranquility in life. Okay. Again, you are talking about something, so it is a noun. The next one is commute. Commute means travel. It's again a very common word, but very uncommonly used. Not many people use this, especially people with lesser vocabulary just always use travel, travel, travel. But commute is also the same. I commute to the office, or I commute to the shop. Whatever you want to use it, you commute to and from. Okay, I'm commuting from this place to this place. So these are the words that play around with commute. The fifth one is venture. Venture means taking risk. Venture capitalist, you might have heard about it. People who are taking risk by investing. So taking risk in the noun form and the verb form. So venturing into something or venturing out of something, venture out. So these into and out is used with venture. Progressive, can easily guess this is an adjective here because it ends with IVE. Adjectives also ends with IVE. That's the clear clue. What is progressive means? Develop slowly. So these kind of knowledge, grammar, vocabulary will be progressive. Okay, it is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen. It will be progressive. For some people, it will be a little slow. If you dedicate more time and effort, and of course, your trust on me and yourself, then you can do it faster as well. So you are the one who can make this happen using progressiveness. Oh, progressiveness, I changed it to ness by adding ness to a noun form. You can do that as well. Affluent means rich, wealthy. Again, describing someone or something. So that's why it's an adjective. And these are the two combinations. You can use it with affluent family or affluent person. You can use it with both types. Commence means begin. Begin, start. So if you are watching this video for the first time, please commence your preparation, commence your vocabulary preparation right now. It's never too late to begin something or some work. So you always commence something or some work. Cumbersome. Cumbersome means inconvenient. I know learning vocabulary can be convenience. I know learning vocabulary can be inconvenient or cumbersome or a burdensome task, but again, it's an adjective that is describing something. So that's why cumbersome is an adjective. Unravel. Unravel means disclosing something, untangling something. Again, you are doing an action here. So this is a verb, and using the SVO concept, subject, verb, object. Verb often lies within the subject and the object. So mostly followed by a noun. Okay, I think you have learned all the words that are repeating this particular month. Even if it is not repeating, you are learning good words. Believe me, learning words in any language, especially English language, is always going to help you. English is a life skill, right? If you learn it once, you understand it once, you use it forever. Now, some of my students told me that, sir, I learned the vocabulary and grammar from you, and now I'm able to teach my own kids in a proper manner. How cool is that? So English is a life skill, always will be helpful to you. So let's do the exam questions now. Okay, let's do the first question here. Now let's start reading and try to find out. Now that doesn't mean that plainness is the only good style or that you should become a dash to spare. Now I see A here, I need a singular noun here. Do you know the grammar about this? Grammar has already helped me. Singular noun, how many singular nouns? I see slave, I see expert, that's it, only two. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about something expert? If you don't understand, continue reading the context, okay? Continue reading the passage. The later part of the sentences can also give you some clues. This is not a very, very simple question that I picked up from the exam. It is a little bit difficult one because of the words that are used here. Not very clear, not very familiar to every one of you. A dash to spare. But now I have only two words to pick up from. Which one will you choose? Continue reading. Formality or neatness, have place, dash hands, complexity, carry dazzling most students, most time, sensibly simple, short of words, verbs, sentences, clear action, identities, it is faster, makes arguments easier to follow, it increases chances, busy reader, blah, 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 rhetorical flourish, which I will advise something altogether. So it's written in an academic context, talking about the way of writing, using the words. That's how you can become a fast reader, by reading every day. Okay, that's one skill that you can acquire by progressing or progressively the words that we just discussed now. Okay, unadorned writing, a dash to spare. Of course, we are not talking about an expert here. So slave, a slave to spare, unadorned writing. Maybe it's talking about difficult writing. Even if you don't know the meaning, try to guess using the context that is present there. So I'll choose slave as the first one. And now second one, again, grammar pattern is also helpful here. Dash hands. So we need an adjective to describe the hands. Hands is a noun, right? And adjectives most of the time in the PT exam questions precedes the noun. So it will always come before the nouns. Now, how many adjectives are there? Abandoning, conveying, focus, saying, developing, strive, incompetent is an adjective, and I think only one is there. I'll go with that. Incompetent hands. So I don't have skills in my hands. That's what I was trying to say. What is the next one? But most students, most of the time, should dash to be sensibly simple. Dash to. Most students, most of the time, should dash to be sensibly simple. Are we trying to aim for something? Are we trying to strive for something? Okay. So there is one grammar pattern also you need to learn. Strive is the best word here. Now I'll tell you why. Strive to in the simple present tense form. If I put an ing, striving, then it will become for. So strive, when I explained it to you, I gave you an example of ing, striving for success. You remember that? But if you're not using ing, then you can use it with to. Of course, you have to use it with to, strive to. Strive to success something, or strive to be something. Okay, so that's why strive will be the third answer here, because you can use it for in the ing form and to in the simple present tense form. That's the difference. Don't use any words in ing form with to. Okay, most of the time it doesn't match. Striving for, progressing for, that's how you use ing words with for. That's a grammar trick. I'll make another video to elaborate on this. Let's do the next one. Simple sentences dash clear actions. Simple sentences, it looks like a noun, dash clear actions, again noun, subject, verb, object. Do I see a pattern here? Could be. And relatively is adjective describing simple sentences. Of course, simple is also describing sentences. So these two are adjectives describing the noun, which becomes the subject here. Now we need a verb. Clear actions. Clear is adjective describing actions. Okay, let's not worry about the later part of the sentence because we are focused on this. So we need a verb here. Very simple. We need a verb here. How many verb do you see? Pay, abandoning, conveying, but do we need ing or simple present tense form? What it means here? Simple sentences, doing an action, conveying clear actions. That's the correct word. Combining clear actions or identities. No, combining, when you have to use this and this. Combining this and this. So over here it is or, so I can't use combining. So you can eliminate combining totally from here. Now abandoning clear actions or identities, that is not making sense. Conveying, because the sentences are not abandoning these words or actions or identities. They are conveying something to you. They are informing you. So that's why this becomes the fourth one. And what is the next one? It makes arguments easier to follow. It increases the chances a busy reader will bother to pay attention. And it lets you dash more attention on your moments of rhetorical flourish. Lets you dash more attention on. This is the word that is collocating with this word. What do? You focus on something. You pay, of course not. Pay on something is not collocating. You pay to. Developing more, we need a simple present tense form. Okay. Why? Because the whole sentence is written like that. Increases, pay attention, lets you, all simple present tense form even in this part of the phrase, and it lets you dash more attention. So I'll go with simple present tense form, and of course it is collocating, focus on something, not focusing on, focus on, focus more attention on something. So in between the collocation, some words like this can also come. Which I do not advise dash altogether. Which I advise dash altogether. Again, an action is happening here. So in this case, you can talk about the negative side. If you think properly, if you read the passage again, then you will understand that we are talking about some things, and then we are talking about not leaving those things behind. So you are not abandoning those things. So that becomes your sixth answer, and that's how you solve. See, vocabulary is of utmost importance. If you don't know the meaning of the words, yes, grammar was helpful to you, but unless you know which word to use where and which prepositions they collocate with, then it becomes more difficult for you. That's why I'm making these videos, to teach you guys these kind of things. Absolutely, if you become master of this approach, then things will become a lot simpler for you in the exam. Believe me. Let's do the next question. I hope this one is easier than the previous one. It looks definitely smaller, so let's try it out. If you want to pause it and attempt the question yourself, you can do it. So why the concern? It's partly dash radioactivity is invisible. Partly dash radioactivity is invisible. What do you think? It's partly attract. You can just do the old school method. If you have only less blanks, just try the words. Partly volatile, radioactivity is invisible, ingest, word, that, associate. We need some kind of preposition because it's partly dash radioactivity is invisible. Partly induced, partly that. It's not making sense. Partly because radioactivity is invisible, because it is raising a question. Why the concern? And you are answering because. That is making sense, isn't it? So even if you know the word meanings, simple words, you have to see in what context I am answering. There is a question there and I need to answer it. It's partly because, so you're not answering the question completely. You are only answering the question partly. Partly because of this and because of that. So that becomes your first answer. If you receive a large dose of something, or if you dash radioactive heavy metals, if you, subject, verb and object, metals. Radioactive, heavy is describing the metals, again adjectives before the noun. So we need a verb here. If you eat something, it is talking about a large dose. Dosage is taken. What is the word that is closest to eating? Is ingest, and that's how you choose the correct answer. Second one. And we tend to dash it with cancer. We tend to connect it with the cancer. That's what I can think the best word here. To dash it. So I don't see any connect option. Do you see any words that are close to connect? Of course, associate. Now, if you didn't know the two meanings of associate, you would wonder, associate means colleague. Why is it used here? Associate can also be used in this way. And then a great fear in modern dash. Modern what? Modern is an adjective. We need a noun here. Attract, volatile, world, modern world or society. Now that is the question. While this is seen as a problem, it can be disadvantage. It is very localized and its very radioactive nature means we can detect easily the movement of tiny amounts of material. Okay, now this could be difficult, but I will tell you one thing. Modern society, modern world, both are used, but most common usage, this is more of a collocation here. Modern society is often used together, and that's why this is the collocation based answer. Okay, but you know the meaning of modern, you know the meaning of the words that are given to you. How much chances did you increase by understanding the words and how to use them? And that's what you need to do in the exam as well. So you can learn or find a whole list of words from the prediction file. Just join the YouTube membership. You will get access to all of them. Or you can also join the paid live classes. You get unlimited prediction file, app access for 3 months, everything comprehensive. That's the word. And if you haven't seen the word on the most repeated spellings, please do go on our channel and watch that particular video. In the meantime, keep watching Edutrainex and I'll soon be back with another informative video on PT topics. See you soon.